The note slid under Han-ju's door at exactly 9:47 p.m. He watched it appear, white paper against dark wood, while he was on the phone with his accountant. Mid-sentence, he stopped talking. No one approached his office without knocking. No one slipped notes like they were passing secrets in elementary school. Han-ju ended the call, crossed the room, picked up the paper, unfolded it. You were being set up. The handwriting was wrong, too big, letters wobbly like a child learning to write. Being, spelled, being. He yanked open the door. Empty hallway, just kitchen noise in the distance and the hum of the industrial freezer. Whoever left this was fast, or small enough to disappear. Han-ju read the note again. His pulse quickened, not from fear, but from the calculation that kept him alive in a world where trust was currency and betrayal was profit. Someone knew something, and they'd chosen the strangest way possible to tell him. He pocketed the note and moved toward the kitchen. 20 minutes earlier, Jeremiah pressed his ear against the wall separating the back office from the boss's conference room. He wasn't trying to spy. The homework was just boring, and voices always sounded more interesting than fractions. Thursday night, 8 o'clock, a man's voice, smooth and cold. You're certain? Another voice, deeper. He'll be in the building. Always as on Thursdays. Jeremiah frowned. Something about how they talked made his stomach tight. What about the others? Acceptable losses. Gas leak takes the whole building. Clean. No questions. The boy's pencil stopped moving. Gas leak. Building. Those weren't good words together. 3 days. Everything's ready. Footsteps moved toward the door. Jeremiah scrambled back to his desk, heart hammering. The men walked past the office without looking in. 3 of them. Suits. One had a scar on his neck. They didn't see him. Adults never really saw kids. Most 7-year-olds would have stayed quiet. Subscribe and comment below if you wouldn't have. Jeremiah waited until their footsteps faded. Then he grabbed paper from the desk. His hand shook as he wrote, "You are being set up." He didn't know what else to say. Didn't understand gas leaks or Thursday meetings. Just knew something bad was happening. Someone needed to know. His mom was too far away in the kitchen. Too busy. And what if she didn't believe him? What if she told him he heard wrong? But the boss, the man everyone was scared of, he'd know what to do. Adults like him always knew about dangerous things. Jeremiah folded the paper, slipped into the hallway on quiet feet. The office door glowed with light underneath. He knelt, pushed the note through the gap, ran back before anyone could see. Han-ju stepped into the kitchen. Heat hit him first, then noise, pans clanging, orders shouting, the controlled chaos of Friday night service. His staff moved like they'd been choreographed. No one looked up. They knew better, except one woman. She stood at the prep station, knife flashing through vegetables. Dark skin, hair pulled back tight, movements precise. Han-ju didn't know her name. She'd been here 6 months, maybe. Quiet type, never caused problems. But tonight, he noticed the small blue jacket hanging near her station. Cartoon characters on the back. Child-sized. His eyes narrowed. Someone brought their kid to work. The woman glanced up, just a second. Then back to her cutting board. Fast. Practiced. Like she'd spent years learning how to be invisible. Too practiced. Han-ju's phone buzzed. Text from his head of security. Meeting room camera shows 3 men leaving at 9:40. Want me to review footage? Han-ju typed back. Yes. Send it to my office. He looked at the woman again. She kept her head down, but her shoulders were tense, waiting for him to leave. In the back office, visible through the kitchen doorway, a small boy sat at a desk. Dark curls. 7, maybe 8 years old. Doing homework like this was normal. Like his mother working in a mafia-owned restaurant was normal. Han-ju's jaw tightened. The note was in his pocket. Childish handwriting, misspelled words. The boy in that office. The man who'd just left his conference room. Thursday. 3 days away. Someone was planning to kill him. And a child who couldn't spell just became the most important person in the building. The question wasn't whether to trust the warning. The question was how a 7-year-old knew about it. And what that meant for the quiet woman who pretended not to notice him watching. Han-ju turned and walked back to his office. He had 3 days to find out who wanted him dead. And why a stranger's child just saved his life. Han-ju watched the security footage 3 times. 9:38 p.m. 3 men leaving his conference room. Dae-young, his head of security. Min Seo, the restaurant manager. Victor, his accountant for 8 years. 9:42 p.m. A small figure, child-sized, moving down the hallway toward his office. 9:47 p.m. The same figure running back. Han-ju froze the frame. Zoomed in. The boy from the kitchen. The one with the blue jacket and the homework. He rewound. Played it again, this time focusing on the conference room door. It wasn't completely closed. A 2-inch gap. Just enough for sound to carry into the office next door. Where the boy had been sitting. Han-ju's chest tightened. The child had overheard everything. Written a warning in clumsy letters. Delivered it to a man he'd never met. Why? Most people, even adults, would have stayed silent. Self-preservation was instinct. You didn't warn predators they were being hunted. You got out of the way and let nature take its course. But this 7-year-old chose different. Han-ju pulled up the employee files. Scrolled through kitchen staff until he found her. Nicole Warren, 32. Single mother. Hired 6 months ago. The photo showed the same woman from the prep station. Professional smile. References from 2 other restaurants. Clean background check. Too clean. Han-ju had been in this business 20 years. He knew what real backgrounds looked like, messy, complicated, full of gaps that told stories people didn't want found. This woman's file read like someone had scrubbed it. Carefully, professionally. He ran her name through his private database. The one that cost him 6 figures annually and could find anyone who'd ever touched the criminal justice system. No matches found. Nicole Warren didn't exist before 6 months ago. Han-ju sat back in his chair. Pieces were moving on a board he couldn't see yet. A woman with a fake identity working in his kitchen. Her son overhearing a murder plot. A warning delivered in crayon and courage. Thursday was 3 days away. His own men he'd trusted with his life, were planning to bury him under rubble and blame it on rival families. And the only person who'd tried to save him was a child who didn't even know his name. Han-ju picked up his phone. Typed a message to his security team. Not Dae-young, the other one, the man who'd been with him since Seoul. The only person left he might be able to trust. Need background on kitchen staff. Nicole Warren, priority 1. Don't let Dae-young know. The response came 30 seconds later. On it. Han-ju stood, walked to his window overlooking the dining room. Somewhere in this building, a woman was pretending to be someone she wasn't. And her son had just made them both targets. The question was whether Han-ju would get to them before his own people did. He looked at the note again. The misspelled warning, the innocent handwriting. You were being set up. For the first time in 15 years, Han-ju didn't know if he'd survive the week. But he knew one thing with absolute certainty. That boy and his mother weren't leaving this restaurant alive unless he kept them that way. Nadia knew she'd been made the moment Han-ju walked into the kitchen at 6 a.m. No boss showed up before dawn. No one checked on prep cooks who'd been perfect for 6 months. He stood in the doorway. Suit already pressed. Eyes already calculating. Nicole Warren. He said the fake name like he was testing how it tasted. We need to talk. Every instinct screamed run. Grab Jeremiah from the apartment. Disappear before sunrise. But runners died tired. Nadia set down her knife. Wiped her hands. About what? Your son. Her blood went cold. He didn't do anything wrong. He saved my life. Han-ju's expression didn't change. That's either very brave or very stupid. I haven't decided which. Nadia's mind raced. How much did he know? Had he reviewed the cameras? Traced her background? Found the holes in Nicole Warren's identity? I don't know what you're talking about. The note. Thursday. The 3 men planning to kill me. Han-ju stepped closer. Your boy heard everything. Wrote me a warning. Now I need to know why. Nadia met his eyes. Didn't flinch. Because he's 7. He heard people planning to hurt someone. He tried to help. That's what good kids do. Good kids stay quiet. Smart kids protect themselves. Han-ju tilted his head. Your son is either very good or you raised him to be useful. Which is it? The accusation hit like a slap. I didn't send him to spy on you. But you knew. The assassination plot. You've been listening. Watching. He pulled out a file. Dropped it on the steel counter. Nicole Warren doesn't exist. No credit history before 6 months ago. No employment records. No digital footprint. Nadia's throat tightened. So let's try again. Han-ju's voice dropped. Who are you really? And why are you working in my restaurant? The truth sat on her tongue like poison. 7 years she'd waited for this moment. 7 years planning how she'd watch this man pay for killing Marcus. But Jeremiah's face flashed in her mind. His innocent handwriting. The way he'd tried to save a stranger because it was right. She couldn't let her son's kindness get him killed. My name is Nadia Williams. The real name felt strange after months of hiding. And your accountant, Victor, he set up my husband 7 years ago. Made it look like Marcus stole from you. You killed an innocent man. Hanju's expression flickered, just once. Marcus Williams, you remember him. I remember everyone I kill. Hanju's jaw tightened. And I remember your son. He was in the car that night. Backseat. I told my men to leave him alone. Nadia's world tilted. What? I spared your boy once. That mercy is why he's alive. Hanju leaned against the counter. Now he's returned the favor. And we both have a problem. He spared Jeremiah 7 years ago. She's been hunting the wrong villain. Subscribe if you didn't see that coming. What problem? Nadia's voice came out hollow. Thursday. The men planning to kill me? They know someone warned me. They're reviewing footage, checking for leaks. Hanju met her eyes. They'll find your son on those cameras. They'll find you, and they'll eliminate both of you before you can talk. Then we disappear. Tonight, they'll hunt you, use you as bait to draw me out. Hanju crossed his arms. Or we work together. Find out who else is involved. Stop them before Thursday. Work together? Nadia's laugh was bitter. You killed my husband. Victor killed your husband. I was the weapon he used. Hanju's voice was flat. And if those files you've been gathering for 6 months prove Marcus was innocent, then I want Victor's head as much as you do. Nadia stared at this man. This killer. This stranger who'd somehow become the only person standing between her son and death. Why would you help us? Because your boy showed me mercy when he had no reason to. And mercy is a debt I always repay. The kitchen was silent except for the hum of refrigerators. 3 days until Thursday. 3 days until men she'd documented and watched would try to burn down this building with everyone inside. What do you need from me? The words tasted like surrender and survival in equal measure. Hanju pulled out a phone. Showed her a photo. Tell me everything you know about these 3 men. And pray we find the truth before they find your son. Nadia spread 6 months of evidence across Hanju's desk. Photographs of delivery schedules, recordings of phone calls, ledgers showing money moving through shell companies. Every piece documented the conspiracy growing inside his own organization. Victor's been skimming for 3 years. She pointed to highlighted numbers. Small amounts. Patterns only visible if you're looking. He needed someone to blame when the theft got too big to hide. Hanju studied the papers. His expression didn't change, but his fingers tightened on the desk edge. Marcus discovered it by accident. Mentioned it to Victor privately. Gave him a chance to come clean. Nadia's voice stayed level, professional, like she was briefing a case instead of explaining her husband's murder. 2 days later, Victor gave you fabricated evidence that Marcus stole $2 million from the Seoul shipment. I saw bank transfers, Marcus's signature, forged. Victor had access to everyone's accounts. He moved the money himself. Made it look like Marcus did it. Nadia pulled out another file. I found the real transfers. Traced them to an offshore account in Victor's mother's maiden name. Hanju was silent for 10 seconds. 20. Why didn't Marcus come to me directly? He tried. You wouldn't see him. Victor made sure your calendar was full that week. Nadia met his eyes. By the time Marcus realized it was a setup, you'd already ordered the hit. The words sat between them like a corpse neither wanted to acknowledge. Victor's one of the 3 planning Thursday. Hanju's voice was quiet. Dangerous. He's been stealing from me for years. Killed an innocent man to cover it. Now he's trying to eliminate me before I discover the truth. He almost succeeded. Nadia gathered the files. If Jeremiah hadn't overheard, where is your son now? At school. I have someone watching him. Someone you trust? Nadia hesitated. My sister. She doesn't know details, just knows to keep him safe. Hanju pulled out his phone. Made a call. I'm sending 2 of my people to your son's school. They'll stay out of sight. Just insurance. I don't need. Yes, you do. Victor knows someone warned me. He's smart enough to figure out who. Hanju's expression was stone. And he's ruthless enough to use a child as leverage. The implication settled like ice in Nadia's stomach. You think he'd go after Jeremiah? I think Victor has killed to protect himself before. He'll do it again. Hanju stood. Your son made himself visible when he delivered that note. Now everyone's looking for the leak. Nadia's hands clenched. She'd spent 6 months being invisible. Building her case. Waiting for the perfect moment. Jeremiah's innocent courage had exposed them both in one night. What do we do? Han-ju walked to his window, looked down at the restaurant floor below. Staff arriving for lunch prep. Everything appearing normal while betrayal coiled beneath the surface. We accelerate. Force their hand before they find your boy. He turned back. Dae-young, Min-seo, and Victor. They think they have until Thursday. We make them move tonight. How? I'm going to announce a special meeting. Emergency audit of all accounts. Mandatory attendance. Han-ju's smile was cold. Victor will panic, make a mistake, and when he does, the office door burst open. Min-seo stood there, face pale. Boss, there's a problem. Han-ju's hand moved toward the drawer where Nadia knew he kept a weapon. What problem? The security footage. From last night. Someone's been reviewing it. Min-seo's eyes darted to Nadia, then back. Dae-young wants to know why a child was in the building after hours. The room went silent. Nadia's heart stopped. They'd found Jeremiah on camera. Han-ju's expression didn't change. And? He's asking questions. About kitchen staff. About who brought a kid to work. Min-seo stepped closer. Boss, if there's a security breach. There's no breach. The child belongs to one of our cooks. She couldn't find childcare. Han-ju's voice was bored. Dismissive. Tell Dae-young to focus on real problems. Min-seo hesitated. He thinks the kid might have seen something. Overheard something. A 7-year-old doing homework? Han-ju laughed. Dae-young's paranoid. It's making him useless. But Nadia saw it. The flicker in Min-seo's eyes. The calculation. He didn't believe it. And neither would Dae-young. They had hours, not days. Jeremiah was already in the crosshairs. The power died at 7:43 p.m. 1 second, the kitchen blazed with fluorescent lights and the dinner rush chaos. The next, darkness swallowed everything except the red emergency exits. Nadia's hand found the knife she'd kept close since dawn. Mom? Jeremiah's voice cut through the sudden silence. He'd been in the back office. Again, because Nadia couldn't risk leaving him anywhere else. Stay there, baby. Don't move. But it was already too late. The kitchen door crashed open. Not from the dining room. From the loading dock entrance. 4 men, masks, weapons raised. Nadia recognized the build of the one in front. Dae-young. Where's the cook? His voice was muffled but clear. The woman with the kid. Staff scattered, screaming, running for exits that suddenly wouldn't open. Locked from the outside. This wasn't a robbery. This was an execution. Nadia pressed herself against the industrial freezer. Her mind calculated distances. The office where Jeremiah hid was 20 feet away. Exposed. The only path blocked by armed men sweeping through with tactical precision. Found her. One of the masked men pointed directly at Nadia. She ran, not away from them, toward the office, toward her son. Gunfire cracked. Close. Too close. Metal pans exploded beside her head. Something hot grazed her shoulder but she didn't stop. She hit the office door. Slammed it shut. Turned the pathetic lock that wouldn't hold for 30 seconds. Jeremiah stood frozen, eyes wide, homework scattered at his feet. Under the desk. Now, Nadia shoved him into the space. Covered him with her body. The door burst open. Dae-young filled the frame. Gun raised. You should have stayed quiet. Please. He's 7. He doesn't know anything. He knew enough to warn the boss. Dae-young's finger moved to the trigger. That makes him a witness. The gun fired, but Dae-young's head snapped sideways before the bullet left the barrel. Han-ju stood behind him. Blood on his fists. Eyes cold as death. You made a critical error, Dae-young. Han-ju's voice was conversational. Calm. Terrifying. You assumed I'd be in my office during the dinner rush. Dae-young spun. Fast. Trained. The 2 men collided in the small office like a car crash. Nadia pulled Jeremiah from under the desk. Run. Kitchen exit. Don't stop. Mom. Go. But the hallway erupted with gunfire. More men. More chaos. Min-seo appeared from the smoke. Weapon drawn. He saw Nadia. Saw Jeremiah. Raised his gun. Nadia didn't think. Didn't hesitate. She grabbed the letter opener from the desk. Drove it into Min-seo's neck before he could fire. Hot blood sprayed across her face. Her hands. Her son's shocked expression. Min-seo dropped. Gurgling. Dying. Jeremiah stared at his mother. At the blood. At the man she just killed. Mom? The word broke her. She just killed a man in front of her son. Some lines can't be uncrossed. Subscribe. Nadia grabbed Jeremiah's hand. Pulled him over the body. through the hallway where staff fought for their lives against men who were supposed to protect them. The kitchen had become a war zone. Victor emerged from the smoke. Accountant turned executioner, gun in hand, face twisted with rage. This is your fault. He aimed at Nadia. Marcus, the investigation, everything. Han-ju appeared behind him. Silent, efficient. The knife entered Victor's kidney before he could pull the trigger. Victor's gun clattered to the floor. He turned, shocked, looking at Han-ju. That was for Marcus Williams. Han-ju's voice was ice. And for making me kill an innocent man. He twisted the blade. Victor's scream cut short as he dropped. The gunfire stopped. Emergency lights flickered back on. Bodies littered the kitchen floor. Some moving, some not. Staff members huddled in corners. Crying, bleeding, alive. Nadia held Jeremiah against her chest. His face buried in her shoulder. Trying to shield him from the carnage he'd already seen. Han-ju stood in the center of the destruction. Blood-soaked, calm, counting his dead. 8 bodies. 4 were the attackers. 4 were his own people, caught in the crossfire or revealed as traitors. Is it over? Nadia's voice shook. Han-ju looked at her. At the boy trembling in her arms. At the blood on both their hands. No. He pulled out his phone. This was just the first wave. Victor had partners. People who funded this. The Seo family. The Who. Korean Mafia. Bigger than me. More connected. Han-ju's jaw tightened. Victor was working for them. This restaurant was the opening move. They want my territory, my operations, everything. Sirens wailed in the distance. Police are coming. We have maybe 5 minutes. Han-ju moved toward them. You both need to disappear. Tonight, I'll handle the authorities. Create a cover story. What kind of cover story explains this? Nadia gestured at the bodies. The destruction. Robbery gone wrong. Gang violence. Happens in Chicago. Han-ju's expression was unreadable. But you can't be here when they arrive. The Seo family has people in the department. If they find out you and your son are connected to this, they'll come for us. They'll torture you for information. Then kill you anyway. Nadia looked at Jeremiah. His eyes were closed now. Breathing too fast. In shock. Her baby had just watched her kill a man. Had just survived a massacre. And now they had to run. Where do we go? Han-ju pulled keys from his pocket. My car. Black Mercedes. License plate HJK7734. Go to this address. He handed her a card. Safe house. No one knows about it except me. Why are you helping us? Because your son saved my life. And I don't leave debts unpaid. Han-ju looked at Jeremiah. Something soft flickered across his face. And because no child should see what he just saw, the least I can do is keep him alive afterward. Nadia took the keys, the card. The sirens were louder now. Closer. She carried Jeremiah toward the exit. He felt heavier than he should. Like the weight of what he'd witnessed had added pounds to his small frame. At the door, she looked back. Han-ju stood among his dead. A king in a battlefield of his own making. Their eyes met. No words. Just the understanding that everything had changed. And nothing would ever be the same. The safe house was a penthouse 20 miles outside Chicago. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a lake that reflected the 3 a.m. moon. Leather furniture that cost more than Nadia's yearly rent. Silence so complete it felt like violence. Jeremiah hadn't spoken since the restaurant. 3 hours of driving in a blood-stained Mercedes. 3 hours of checking mirrors for cars that might be following. 3 hours of her son staring at his hands like he could still see the blood. Nadia had cleaned him in the bathroom. Changed his clothes into an oversized shirt she'd found in a drawer. Put him in the massive bed in the guest room. He lay there now, eyes open, not sleeping, not crying, just existing. Baby, talk to me. She sat on the bed's edge. Touched his shoulder. He flinched. The movement broke something in Nadia's chest. I'm sorry you saw that. I'm sorry her voice cracked. I had to. He was going to hurt you. You killed him. Jeremiah's voice was small, distant. There was so much blood. I know. Is that what happened to Daddy? Did someone make him bleed like that? Nadia's throat closed. 7 years she'd protected him from the truth. 7 years of, Daddy died in an accident, and he's watching over us from heaven. Now her son knew exactly what death looked like. Yes, she whispered. That's what happened to your daddy. Jeremiah finally looked at her. His eyes were older than they'd been that morning. Childhood burned away in a kitchen full of bodies. Are we going to die too? No, I won't let that happen. You can't promise that. He turned away, faced the wall. Nobody can. Nadia wanted to argue, to comfort, to lie the way mothers do when the truth is too heavy for small shoulders. But her son had just learned that mothers kill when they have to. That safety was a myth. That the world was sharp edges and blood and violence that didn't care about homework or 7-year-olds who tried to do the right thing. She left him there, closed the door quietly, found herself on the penthouse balcony at 4 a.m., shaking. Not from cold, from the delayed shock of what she'd done. The feel of a letter opener sliding into flesh. The sound Min Seo made when he fell. She'd killed before, years ago, in her undercover days when things went bad and survival meant pulling a trigger. But never in front of her son. Never where innocence could watch. "You're awake." Hanju's voice came from behind her. Nadia didn't turn, couldn't sleep, neither could I. He moved beside her, pulled out a cigarette pack. Offered her one. She took it, let him light it, drew smoke deep into lungs that felt like they were drowning. "I quit 7 years ago," she said. "After Marcus died. Tonight seems like a good reason to start again." Hanju lit his own. They stood in silence, two killers watching the sun think about rising. "My son won't look at me." The words came out hollow. "He will, eventually." "How do you know?" "Because I was him once. 7 years old, watched my father kill a man who owed him money." Hanju exhaled smoke toward the lake. "I didn't speak to him for a month. But I understood why he did it. Protection, survival, love that looks like violence. Jeremiah's not like us. He's good, pure." He was. Hanju's correction was gentle but firm. Now he's something else, something that's seen the truth and has to learn to live with it. Nadia's cigarette trembled between her fingers. "I destroyed him. You saved him. There's a difference." Hanju turned to face her. "Min Seo would have killed you both. You chose your son's life over a murderer's. That's not destruction. That's love. Love shouldn't look like that. In our world, it does. He's right and you know it. Subscribe if you'd make the same choice." The silence stretched. Dawn started painting the sky pink and gold. "The Seo family." Nadia broke the quiet. "Who are they?" "Bigger fish. My organization controls Chicago's north side. They want it. Victor was their inside man. The restaurant attack was supposed to eliminate me and create chaos they could exploit. But it failed, because your son warned me. Now they know someone interfered. They'll be looking for who." Hanju's expression hardened. "And they have resources I don't. Police contacts, government connections, money that reaches everywhere. So we're not safe. Even here, we're safer than we were." "But safe?" He shook his head. "That word doesn't exist anymore. Not for any of us." Nadia looked through the glass doors at Jeremiah's room. Her son who'd tried to save a stranger. Who'd gotten caught in a war he didn't understand. Who'd watched his mother become a killer. What happens now? "Now I make some calls. Cash in favors. Find out who in the Seo family ordered the hit and how deep Victor's betrayal went." Hanju stubbed out his cigarette. "And you stay here, both of you, until I know it's clear." "How long?" "Days, weeks, however long it takes. Jeremiah has school, friends, a life." Had. Hanju's voice was gentle but absolute. "That life ended tonight. The question is what life you build to replace it." The call came at noon on the third day. Hanju's burner phone, a number he didn't recognize. He answered anyway. "Yes, Mr. Han." The voice was smooth, American accent with Korean underneath. "My name is David Seo. I believe we have matters to discuss." Hanju's expression didn't change, but Nadia saw his hand tighten on the phone. She'd been watching him for 3 days now, learning his tells, the micro-expressions that revealed what his voice never would. "I'm listening. Victor Chen worked for me. As did Dae Young and Min Seo. They were supposed to facilitate a peaceful transition of your territory." A pause. "Their failure has created complications." "Complications." Hanju's voice was flat. "You mean bodies. I mean witnesses. A woman, a child, both present during an unfortunate incident that my people assure me you survived." David Seo's tone remained pleasant. Conversational. "I'm a businessman, Mr. Han. I don't believe in loose ends." Nadia's blood went cold. "What do you want?" "A meeting. You, me, neutral ground. We discuss the future of Chicago's north side like civilized people. And if I refuse, then I'm forced to pursue other avenues. The woman and her son, for instance. I understand she's former intelligence. Chicago PD task force before she went dark. Quite the asset." Papers rustled on the other end. And the boy, Jeremiah Williams, age 7. Frederick Douglass Elementary. Teacher's name is Mrs. Patterson. He likes dinosaurs and math. Nadia stopped breathing. They knew everything. Hanju's eyes found hers across the room. You're threatening a child. I'm stating facts. What you do with those facts determines what happens next. David Seo's voice hardened slightly. Meet with me tomorrow, 2 p.m., the Drake Hotel, Presidential Suite. Come alone, or I send people to collect the woman and her son. Your choice. The line went dead. Hanju set the phone down with deliberate care. They know about Jeremiah's school. His teacher. Nadia's voice shook. How? Money. Connections. The Seo family has both. Hanju moved to the window. Looked out at the lake like it might have answers. David Seo runs their American operations. Legitimate businesses as cover. Real estate, tech startups, venture capital. He's untouchable legally, but you're going to meet him. I don't have a choice. If I refuse, he'll make good on the threat. Nadia crossed to him. It's a trap. He'll kill you the moment you walk in. Probably. Hanju's tone was matter of fact. But if I don't go, he kills you and Jeremiah. At least this way, you have time to run. Run where? He found us here. He knows about Jeremiah's school, his teacher, everything. Nadia's hands clenched. There's nowhere left. Hanju was quiet for a long moment. There's one place. Out of the country. Contact in Vancouver who owes me. He can get you new identities. Real ones. Good enough that even the Seo family won't find you. And what about you? I meet with David Seo. Buy you time to disappear. His expression was unreadable. After that, it doesn't matter. You're planning to die tomorrow. I'm planning to save your son. There's a difference. Nadia grabbed his arm, forced him to look at her. Jeremiah already lost one father figure. I won't let him lose another. Something flickered in Hanju's eyes. I'm not his father. No, but you could be, if you'd stop trying to sacrifice yourself. Her voice cracked. We find another way. Together. There is no other way. Then we make one. Nadia's grip tightened. You taught me that love looks like violence. Fine. Then let's be violent. Let's fight instead of running. Let's make David Seo regret he ever learned our names. Hanju stared at her. Really looked at her for the first time since the restaurant. This woman who'd infiltrated his organization for revenge. Who'd killed to protect her son. Who'd somehow become the only person in his world he actually trusted. You're suggesting we go to war with the Seo family. I'm suggesting we survive, whatever that takes. A slow smile crossed Hanju's face. Dangerous. Real. Then we need a plan. The plan was simple. Dangerous. Probably suicidal. Nadia loved it. David Seo expects you alone. Unarmed. Submissive. She spread papers across the coffee table. Documents she'd been compiling for months. Bank records. Property deeds. Shell company networks. But what he doesn't know is that I've been tracking his money for half a year. Hanju studied the papers. You were investigating him? I was investigating everyone connected to Marcus's death. Victor led me to the Seo family. Nadia pointed to highlighted transfers. David Seo doesn't just run legitimate businesses. He's laundering money through them. Millions. For cartels, corrupt politicians, foreign oligarchs. You have proof? Enough to interest the FBI. Enough to destroy his untouchable status. Nadia pulled out a flash drive. Everything's here. Names, dates, amounts. 6 years of financial crimes. Hanju's expression shifted. This is leverage. This is ammunition. Nadia met his eyes. You go to that meeting. But not to die. You go to negotiate. With what? He has more men, more money, more connections. But we have this. She held up the drive. And we have me. Former intelligence. I know how to package evidence. How to make it bulletproof. How to ensure that if anything happens to us, this information automatically goes to federal prosecutors. A dead man's switch. Exactly. We set it up tonight. If we don't check in every 12 hours, the evidence uploads to multiple law enforcement agencies. FBI, DIA, IRS, Interpol. Nadia's voice was steady, certain. David Seo can kill us. But he can't stop the consequences. Hanju was quiet, processing. There's more. Nadia pulled out another file. David Seo has a daughter. 12 years old, lives with his ex-wife in Los Angeles. He sees her twice a month. Very protective. You want to threaten a child? I want him to understand we're willing to. Nadia's expression was hard. We don't actually touch her. We just make sure he knows we could. That we have people watching. That if he comes after Jeremiah, his daughter becomes fair game. Fight monsters long enough and you become one. Subscribe if you'd cross that line. Han-ju stared at her. This woman who'd been a mother, a widow, an undercover operative. Now something else entirely. Something forged in violence and desperation. You've changed. I watched my son's innocence die in a kitchen full of bodies. I killed a man while he watched. Nadia's voice didn't waver. I'm already a monster. Might as well be an effective one. Nadia, don't. She held up her hand. Don't tell me I'm not. Don't tell me there's still good in me. I know what I am now. And what I am is whatever keeps Jeremiah alive. Silence stretched between them. Then Han-ju nodded. All right, we threaten his daughter. Leverage for leverage. We don't just threaten. We document it. Photos, school schedule, routes she takes. We show him we've done the homework. Nadia's jaw tightened. Same way he showed us with Jeremiah. This could backfire. Make him more dangerous. He's already trying to kill us. How much more dangerous can he get? Han-ju almost smiled. Fair point. They worked through the night. Setting up the digital dead man switch. Contacting Han-ju's remaining people for information on David Seo's daughter. Building a counter-threat as ugly and unforgivable as the one they'd received. At 4 a.m., Jeremiah appeared in the doorway. Small, quiet, watching them plan violence with the focused intensity of adults preparing for war. Is someone going to hurt me? His voice was tiny. Nadia's heart broke. Again. No, baby. We're making sure no one can. By hurting someone else's kid? The question landed like a blade. Nadia opened her mouth, closed it, had no answer that wasn't a lie or an admission that yes, they'd become exactly what they were fighting against. Han-ju spoke instead. We're not going to hurt her. We're just going to make her father think we might. So he leaves us alone. That's still mean. Yes, it is. Han-ju didn't sugarcoat it. Sometimes staying alive means being mean. Being cruel. Doing things that feel wrong because the alternative is worse. Is that what you do? Mean things to stay alive? Every day. Han-ju met the boy's eyes. And I'm not proud of it. But I'm still here. And so are you. And so is your mother. That has to count for something. Jeremiah looked at his mom. At the papers spread across the table. At the photos of a girl who looked a few years older than him, smiling outside a school. She looks nice. She probably is. Nadia's voice cracked. Then we shouldn't use her to be mean. Even if it keeps us safe. Jeremiah's eyes were still too old. Too knowing. Because that makes us the bad guys. The truth of it hung in the air. Out of the mouths of traumatized children came the one piece of moral clarity neither adult could find. Nadia looked at Han-ju. Saw her own conflict reflected back. He's right, she whispered. Han-ju's jaw tightened. Being right doesn't keep us alive. No, but maybe being alive doesn't mean anything if we become this. Nadia gathered the photos of David Seo's daughter. Set them aside. We find another way. There is no other way. Then we make one. Like I said before. Nadia's hands shook but her voice stayed firm. We're not them. We can't be. Not even to survive. Han-ju walked into the Drake Hotel at 1:55 p.m. Alone, unarmed, exactly as instructed. What David Seo didn't know was that Nadia sat in a van 2 blocks away. Laptop open, finger hovering over a button that would send 6 years of financial evidence to 17 different law enforcement agencies. And Jeremiah sat beside her, watching his mother prepare to destroy a man's life with a single keystroke. Presidential suite. The desk clerk didn't ask questions, just handed over a key card. Han-ju took the elevator. Adjusted his tie, checked his reflection in the polished brass doors. He looked like a man going to his execution. Maybe he was. The suite door was already open. Invitation. Trap. Both. David Seo stood by the windows overlooking Michigan Avenue. Younger than Han-ju expected. Early 40s. Expensive suit. American smile that didn't reach his eyes. Mr. Han, thank you for coming. You didn't leave me much choice. We always have choices. We just don't always like the options. David gestured to a chair. Please, sit. Can I offer you a drink? I'm not here for small talk. No, you're here because I threatened a 7-year-old boy. David's smile faded. And because you're wondering if I'm serious. Are you? That depends entirely on you. David sat across from him. Crossed his legs. Relaxed. In control. I want your territory, your operations, your connections. In exchange, I let you live. And I leave the woman and her son alone. You want me to hand over everything I built. I want you to recognize reality. Victor's attack failed, but it exposed your vulnerabilities. Half your people died. The other half are wondering if you're still strong enough to lead. David's voice was reasonable, rational. Step down gracefully. Retire. Disappear. Everyone lives. And if I refuse? Then I sent people to collect Jeremiah Williams from Frederick Douglass Elementary. His mother too. I'll keep them alive. For leverage. To ensure your cooperation. David's expression didn't change. But you know how these things work. Accidents happen, especially to uncooperative hostages. Hanju's hands tightened on the armrests. You're threatening to torture a child. I'm incentivizing a business decision. David pulled out his phone. Showed a photo. Jeremiah walking into school yesterday morning. I have 6 people watching him right now. 4 outside the building, 2 inside, disguised as substitute teachers. The detail made it real. Immediate. Undeniable. What makes you think the woman won't run? Take her son and disappear? Because she's been sitting in a white van 2 blocks east for the past hour. Silver laptop. Black jacket. Watching this building. David's smile returned. Did you really think I wouldn't have counter-surveillance? Hanju's blood went cold. They knew. They'd known the whole time. Your move, Mr. Han. David leaned back. Surrender your territory, or I collect my collateral. You have 30 seconds to decide. In the van, Nadia's phone buzzed. Unknown number. Text message. No words. Just a photo. Her. In the van. Taken from across the street. Timestamped 2 minutes ago. Her hands went numb. Mom? Jeremiah's voice was small. What's wrong? Before she could answer, the van's back doors opened. 2 men. Masks. Weapons. Ms. Williams. Come with us. Bring the boy. Nadia's hand moved toward the laptop. Toward the button that would send everything. Touch that keyboard and your son dies here. The man's voice was flat. Professional. Step away. Hands up. Slowly. She had no choice. No leverage. No plan. They'd been 3 steps ahead the entire time. Nadia raised her hands. Stood. Positioned herself between the men and Jeremiah. Please. Take me. Let him go. He's just a child. He's evidence that you warned Mr. Han. That makes him valuable. The man gestured with his weapon. Both of you. Now. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. They walked into the trap knowing it was a trap. Subscribe if you saw this coming. In the presidential suite, Hanju's phone buzzed. He looked at the screen. Photo of Nadia. Hands raised. 2 armed men behind her. Jeremiah pressed against her side. Message below. Your 30 seconds are up. David Seo watched his reaction with clinical interest. As I said, I don't believe in loose ends. Let them go. I'll give you everything. You'll give me everything anyway. The question is whether they live to see tomorrow. David stood, walked to the window. Here's what happens next. You transfer control of your operations to my people. Every contact, every account, every piece of territory. You do this publicly, so everyone knows you've submitted. And then? Then you disappear. Permanently. No communication. No attempts at revenge. You become a ghost. David turned back. The woman and boy go into witness protection. FBI placement. New identities. Far from Chicago. They live, but you never see them again. Why would I trust you to keep that promise? Because I'm a businessman. Dead witnesses create investigations. Live witnesses who disappear create nothing. David's expression was reasonable. Logical. It's cleaner this way. For everyone. Hanju looked at the photo again. Jeremiah's face. Terrified. Brave. The boy who'd saved his life with a misspelled note. The boy he'd let live 7 years ago. The boy who'd somehow become more important than territory or pride or survival. I want proof. Before I agree. Proof they're safe. Of course. David made a call. Spoke in Korean. Bring them up. 5 minutes later, the suite door opened. Nadia and Jeremiah, escorted by armed men, unharmed but shaking. Jeremiah saw Hanju. His eyes went wide. Mr. Han, it's okay. Hanju's voice was gentle. Everything's going to be okay. Don't lie to him. Nadia's voice was sharp. He's seen enough lies. She's right. Hanju met her eyes. Tried to say everything he couldn't with David Seo watching. No more lies. He turned to David. I'll give you what you want. Territory, operations, all of it, but they walk out of here. Now, before any transfers happen. That's not how negotiations work. That's how this one works. Hanju's voice was steel. Or I burn everything, right now, every account, every connection, every piece of leverage you think you're getting. I'll destroy it all before I let you use them as hostages. David studied him, calculating, measuring, then nodded. Fine, they leave, but if you don't follow through, I will. Han-ju looked at Nadia. At Jeremiah. I keep my promises. David gestured to his men. Escort them out. Put them in a car. Take them wherever they want to go. Mom? Jeremiah's voice cracked. What about Mr. Han? He'll be fine, baby. Nadia's lie was transparent. He'll catch up with us later. But her eyes told the truth. They both knew he wouldn't. This was goodbye. 6 months later. Portland, Oregon. Rain on windows. A small apartment above a Korean grocery store. Jeremiah sat at the kitchen table doing homework. 9 years old now. Taller. Quieter than he used to be. Nadia watched him from the stove. She was making dinner. Something simple. Normal. The kind of thing mothers do when they're not running from mafia families or watching their sons witness murder. Mom? Jeremiah's voice pulled her back. Can I ask you something? Always. Do you think Mr. Han is still alive? The question she'd been dreading for 6 months. I don't know, baby. But you think about him. I see you looking at your phone. Like you're waiting for a call that won't come. Too smart. He'd always been too smart. I think about him every day. Nadia turned off the stove. Sat across from her son. He saved us. Both of us. That's not something you forget. I wrote him a letter. Jeremiah pulled a folded paper from his backpack. I know we're not supposed to. The witness protection lady said no contact with our old life. But I wrote it anyway. Just in case. Nadia's throat tightened. What does it say? That I remember what he did. That I hope he's okay. That sometimes I pretend he's my dad. Jeremiah's eyes were wet. Is that stupid? No, baby. That's not stupid at all. Do you think he pretends we're his family? Like we pretend he's ours? Nadia couldn't answer. Couldn't speak around the weight in her chest. The truth was she didn't know if Han-ju was alive. David Seo had promised witness protection for them. But Han-ju? He'd disappeared. No news reports. No obituaries. Nothing. Either he'd vanished like promised. Or he was dead and no one cared enough to say. 3 months later. Jeremiah's 10th birthday. Small party at the apartment. 3 kids from school. Cake. Presents. Normal. Except nothing felt normal anymore. Nadia stood in the kitchen washing dishes when she saw him. Across the street. Leaning against a lamppost. Dark jacket. Familiar posture. Her heart stopped. It couldn't be. She dried her hands. Walked to the window. Stared harder. The man looked up. Met her eyes. Han-ju. Older. Thinner. A beard she didn't recognize. But unmistakably him. He smiled. Small. Sad. Then turned and walked away. Nadia's hands shook as she grabbed her phone. Dialed the number she'd memorized but never called. It rang once. Twice. Hello? His voice. After 9 months of silence. His voice. You're alive. So are you. A pause. I wasn't sure I should come. Witness protection. New identities. I didn't want to risk. Where are you? Gone. I just needed to see. To know you were safe. That the boy was safe. Jeremiah. His name is Jeremiah. I know his name. Han-ju's voice cracked slightly. I know everything about both of you. I've been watching from a distance. Making sure David Seo kept his word. You've been watching us for 9 months? I had to know you were okay. That sacrificing everything actually worked. Nadia looked at Jeremiah, laughing with his friends. Growing up. Healing slowly. It worked. We're safe. But you, where have you been? Nowhere. Everywhere. I gave up my territory like promised. Disappeared. I've been living small. Quiet. Working construction in Seattle under a fake name. Construction? Turns out I'm good with my hands when I'm not using them to kill people. A bitter laugh. Who knew? Come back, please. Jeremiah asks about you every day. He thinks you're his father. Silence on the other end. Long enough that Nadia thought he'd hung up. I can't be his father. I'm a ghost. A man who doesn't exist anymore. Then be James. Or David. Or whatever name you're using now. Just be here. With us. Nadia. He wrote you a letter. Keeps it in his backpack. Waiting for a chance to give it to you. She heard Han-ju's breath catch. What does it say? Read it yourself. Come to dinner tomorrow. 7 o'clock. We'll order Korean food. You can pretend to criticize how they make the kimchi. This is dangerous. If David Seo finds out. He won't. And even if he does, I don't care anymore. We didn't survive everything just to live half a life. Nadia's voice was firm. Tomorrow. 7. Don't make me wait another 9 months. The line went quiet. Then, okay. The next evening, knock at the door at exactly 7. Jeremiah looked up from his homework. Mom, someone's here. I know, baby. Can you get it? He walked to the door. Opened it. Han-ju stood there, clean-shaven now, nervous in a way Nadia had never seen him. Hi. Han-ju's voice was soft. You probably don't remember me. Mr. Han. Jeremiah's face lit up, then crumpled. Then he was crying. You're alive. You're really alive. I'm alive. Han-ju knelt down, eye level. Thanks to you. That note you wrote. You saved my life. I thought you were dead. I thought. Jeremiah pulled the letter from his pocket. Crushed and worn from being carried for months. I wrote this for you. Han-ju took it with shaking hands. Unfolded it. Read words written in a child's careful handwriting. Dear Mr. Han, I hope you're not dead. Mom says you gave up everything to keep us safe. That makes you a hero. Also, it makes you my dad because dads are supposed to protect their kids. I know you're not my real dad. My real dad died when I was little. But maybe you could be my second dad. If you want. I remember what happened in the restaurant. The blood. The people who died. Sometimes I have nightmares. But then I remember you were there. You protected us. And I feel better. Mom pretends she's okay but I know she misses you. She looks at her phone a lot. Waiting for you to call. I think she loves you. I think I love you too. Can you come home, please? Love, Jeremiah. Han-ju's vision blurred. He folded the letter carefully. Put it in his pocket over his heart. I'd be honored to be your second dad. If your mom says it's okay. They both looked at Nadia. She was crying, smiling. It's more than okay. They built a family from blood and betrayal. Subscribe and comment below if you believe in second chances. The small apartment had become a home. Han-ju worked construction during the day. Came home with paint on his hands and sawdust in his hair. Jeremiah helped with homework, made dinner with Nadia. They ate together every night. No mafia, no territory, no violence. Just three people who'd found each other in the worst circumstances and decided that was enough. Jeremiah was 11 now, happy, mostly. The nightmares came less frequently. He talked about the restaurant sometimes. About what he'd seen, but having Han-ju there to answer questions helped. Did you really kill people? Jeremiah asked one night. Yes. Han-ju never lied to him. How many? Too many to count. Too many to justify. Do you regret it? Han-ju thought about that. I regret the life I lived. But I don't regret what it taught me. Or where it led me. Because it led me to your mother. And to you. That's a complicated answer. It's a complicated question. Han-ju smiled. You'll understand when you're older. That's what adults always say when they don't want to explain. Fair. Han-ju laughed. Okay, here's the real answer. I did terrible things. I hurt people. I built an empire on violence. But that empire gave me the resources to save you when it mattered. So was it worth it? I don't know, but I'd do it all again if it meant you and your mom are safe. Jeremiah nodded, satisfied with the honesty. Can I call you Dad? Instead of Mr. Han? Han-ju's breath caught. You want to? Yeah, Mom said I should ask first. But you do dad things. You help with homework. You make breakfast. You fixed my bike. You're my dad now, just not the one who made me. Then yes, I'd like that very much. That night, after Jeremiah went to bed, Nadia and Han-ju sat on the small balcony. He called you Dad today. Nadia leaned against him. I know, I might have cried a little. Might have? Okay, definitely cried. Han-ju pulled her closer. I never thought I'd have this. A family, a home, a reason to wake up that isn't about survival or territory or violence. You gave up everything for us. And I'd do it again. He kissed the top of her head. What we have now, this quiet life, it's worth more than any empire. Do you miss it? The power? Sometimes. Old habits die hard. Han-ju was honest. But then Jeremiah laughs. Or you make that terrible coffee you think I don't notice as terrible. And I remember why I walked away. My coffee is not terrible. Your coffee is aggressively terrible. I drink it anyway because I love you. Nadia froze. They'd been living together for a year. Acting like a family. But neither had said those words. You love me? I love you. I love Jeremiah. I love this small apartment and the rain and the grocery store downstairs that sells kimchi that's almost as good as my mother used to make. Han-ju turned to face her. I love this life we built from ashes and blood and impossible choices. I love you too. Nadia's voice was thick with emotion. Even though you pretend my coffee doesn't taste like sadness. It really does though. I know. She laughed, kissed him. I'll learn to make better coffee. You'll learn to stop folding towels like a sociopath. We'll figure it out. Deal. They sat in comfortable silence. Two people who'd survived violence and betrayal. Who'd chosen each other when the world said they shouldn't. Who'd built something beautiful from the wreckage. Jeremiah was 12, tall for his age, still too smart, still too aware of the world's sharp edges. But healing, growing, becoming someone new. He stood at his middle school graduation, receiving an award for creative writing. His essay was titled, "The Man Who Saved Us." It was about a 7-year-old boy who delivered a note. A mafia boss who showed mercy. A mother who killed to protect. And how 3 broken people became a family. His teacher had cried reading it. Said it was the most honest thing she'd ever seen from a student. Nadia and Han-ju sat in the audience, holding hands, watching this child they'd both nearly lost. He's going to be okay. Nadia whispered, more than okay. Han-ju smiled. He's going to be extraordinary. After the ceremony, Jeremiah ran to them, award in hand. Did you see? Did you see me? We saw. Nadia hugged him. We're so proud. Dad, you cried again. I didn't cry. Han-ju wiped his eyes. Something in my eye. Sure. Jeremiah grinned. Whatever you say. They walked home together, through Portland rain, past the grocery store, up to their small apartment that had become the entire world. That night, Nadia found Han-ju in Jeremiah's room, watching the boy sleep. What are you thinking? She slipped her arm around his waist. That I was supposed to die 3 years ago. In a restaurant full of bodies. Or in a hotel room bargaining for your lives. Han-ju's voice was quiet. But a 7-year-old boy decided to save me instead. And now I have this. A son who isn't mine by blood but is mine in every way that matters. A woman I love who somehow loves me back. A life that has nothing to do with violence or power. Regrets? Only one. He turned to her. That I didn't find you both sooner. That I wasted 40 years being someone else before I became this. You can't change the past. No, but I can honor it by being better now. Han-ju pulled her close. By being the father Jeremiah deserves. The partner you deserve. By proving that people can change. That monsters can learn to be human. You were always human. You just forgot for a while. They stood there, watching Jeremiah sleep. This child who'd survived violence and trauma. Who'd chosen to be kind despite everything. Who'd saved them all with a note written in clumsy handwriting. The knock on the door came at midnight. Han-ju answered. Found a man in a dark suit. Mr. Han, or should I say James Park? Who are you? FBI, Special Agent Chen. He showed credentials. I need to speak with you. And Ms. Williams. It's about David Seo. Nadia appeared behind Han-ju. Tense. Ready. What about him? He's dead. Killed last week in a federal prison. Stabbed by another inmate. Agent Chen's expression was neutral. The Witness Protection Program asked me to notify you. Thought you'd want to know. Silence. David Seo. Dead. The man who'd hunted them. Who'd forced Han-ju to give up everything. Who'd held their lives in his hands for years. Gone. Are we safe now? Nadia's voice was small. Really safe? The Seo family is fractured. Fighting over what's left. They have bigger problems than a woman and child who disappeared years ago. Agent Chen handed Han-ju a card. But if you want, witness protection can officially end. You can reclaim your real names. Your real lives. Nadia looked at Han-ju. He looked back. No. They said it together. We're good where we are. Han-ju explained. We've built something here. Something clean. We don't want to go back. Understood. Agent Chen nodded. Then this is my last visit. Officially, you don't exist. Stay safe. He left. Nadia and Han-ju stood in the doorway. Processing. He's really dead. Nadia's voice was hollow. He's really dead. We're free. We've been free for 5 years. We just didn't know it. Han-ju closed the door. Locked it. But nothing changes. We're still us. We're still here. This is still home. You're right. Nadia smiled. Kissed him. This is home. You. Me. Jeremiah. That's all that matters. Jeremiah graduated from high school. Got accepted to college. Studying creative writing because his 10th grade teacher said he had a gift. Han-ju and Nadia stood at his graduation. Older now. Gray in their hair. Lines around their eyes. But happy. I can't believe he's leaving for college in 2 months. Nadia leaned against Han-ju. He'll come home for holidays. Summer breaks. It won't be the same. No, but that's how it should be. He's supposed to grow up. Leave. Build his own life. Han-ju smiled. We did our job. We kept him alive, kept him safe. Now he gets to be a normal kid figuring out normal problems. You're a good father. I'm a reformed mafia boss playing house. Han-Ju's tone was self-deprecating. But I'm trying. You're succeeding. After the ceremony, Jeremiah approached them. Tall now. Almost as tall as Han-Ju. Not a boy anymore. So, he grinned. You guys ready to be empty nesters? Absolutely not. Nadia pulled him into a hug. But we'll survive. You always do. Jeremiah hugged Han-Ju next. Thanks, Dad, for everything. For saving us. For staying. For being here. Thank you for writing that note 8 years ago. Han-Ju's voice was thick. For saving me first. We saved each other. Jeremiah stepped back, looked at both of them. That's what families do. Jeremiah published his first book. A novel, loosely based on a 7-year-old who saved a mafia boss's life. It became a bestseller. Han-Ju and Nadia attended the book launch in Seattle. Proud, nervous, seeing their story transformed into fiction. Afterward, at dinner, Jeremiah had a question. Do you ever regret it? The way things happened? Which part? Nadia asked. All of it. The restaurant. The violence. Having to disappear. Building a life from nothing. Han-Ju and Nadia exchanged looks. 10 years of shared history in that single glance. No, Han-Ju said simply. Because it led here. To you succeeding. To us being together. To a life I never thought I deserved. Same. Nadia agreed. The path was terrible. But the destination is perfect. Even though you lost everything? Jeremiah pressed. Dad, you had an empire. Mom, you were law enforcement. And you both gave it up. We lost things. Han-Ju corrected. But we gained more. We gained each other. We gained you. That's not a loss. That's the best trade I ever made. They traded an empire for a family. Subscribe if you'd make the same choice. Jeremiah smiled, raised his glass. To second chances. To second chances. They echoed. 3 people, brought together by violence. Held together by love. A boy who tried to save a stranger. A man who chose mercy over murder. A mother who protected her son at any cost. They'd all been broken, all been lost, but they'd found each other. And in the finding, they'd been saved. Marcus Williams, 2010 to 2017. Beloved husband and father. Vindicated. Victor Chen, embezzler. Dead. David Seo, 2017 to 2025. Federal prison. Dead. Han-Ju, James Park, reformed. Alive. Father. Nadia Williams, Laura Mason Park, survivor. Alive. Protector. Jeremiah Williams Park. The boy who saved everyone by slipping a note. Sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is show mercy. Sometimes mercy saves you back. From a 7-year-old's courage to a family's second chance, this is what survival looks like. Hit subscribe because some stories deserve to be remembered. And some families deserve to be celebrated. This one? It's both.